Morning, everyone, and welcome to the Off Camber podcast, episode 8. This is TC and Ishane back from Melbourne, as usual. This is our Bahrain GP preview. How you doing today, mate?
Fantastic. Earliest recording session of the year.
100%, mate. So this is Friday before the Grand Prix. Bahrain, the morning of. So practice is tonight for us at 9:30.
9:30 tonight, yeah.
So day off. So we're going to get our predictions in and talk a little bit about what's been happening and about the track and stuff like that. So first of all, we'll talk about last year. So Bahrain, I feel like over the past couple of years has produced some good races, in my opinion. And it's one of those tracks that has sort of like set its place in the calendar, I'd say. Like now, I'd say I'd take Bahrain over a lot of other tracks. Like
It's definitely the best race we get out of the Middle East in the year, for sure.
I'd say I'd agree with that. 20 years running now.
Yeah.
No, 21. This is our 21st.
I didn't realise how old it was.
Yeah. So last night I was looking into it a little bit, and 2004, Schumi won the first race. I knew it was old because Supercars went there in 2007, but I didn't think 2004. Like that's old as shit. But it still seems like a new facility and like it's modern and stuff. So it's a good racetrack, I guess. So, out of 10, what do you say out of 10 for a race at Bahrain? Like the track itself, just the track itself, strictly.
So what goes on at the track, or just
the track?
Looking at the track.
You like the track out of 10? What's your rating out of 10 for the track?
I'm giving it between a 7 and an 8. It's visually appeasing.
Yeah, especially but now that it's night, I think it's not a bad jigger. I've given it a 7 out of 10 for the track. So I think it gives like a good mix of this is where I'm beginning to like think about, track layouts and stuff and what sort of works for F1 is like you got fast straights, sweeping corners that are like medium to high speed, and then hard braking zones.
Yeah.
But the braking zones need like a sort of a long straight before to present overtaking opportunities, especially with how like F1 cars work with dirty air and stuff. So like you've got T1, you got the track map. Bring up the track map.
Just that right tab there.
Just the right tab
right there.
So 2 DRS zones. It's 2, isn't it? No, it should be 2.
That's right. It's 3 detection points.
Yes. So you've got the run into turn 4, which is a big overtaking area coming out of the left-right flick.
Yeah, I was at 2022 when Max and Leclerc were going at it.
Yep. And then obviously you've got main straight into T1. But it's good because that last sector sort of provides like you've got like the last run down the back straight, and then that's like a slow corner, which you can pick up speed to get a run onto the main straight, and then probably have a dive into T1. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's a great layout. Like sort of promotes good racing for these cars, so it works really well.
Probably going to be the best race we'll see for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Given we've got Jeddah and Miami coming up.
Fucking oath. But yeah, so happy days with that night race. We'll get straight into our predictions for the weekend. Do you want to go first? You go first, mate. Yeah, let's get the run through.
Yes, first. Or we'll go 1 for 1.
1 for 1. Let's
go 1 for 1.
Okay. All right. I've got Pole. I've got George Russell. Interesting choice. I don't know. I just think he's outperforming the car, and he's got it dialed in over one lap Mercedes. Everyone's got heaps of data here, so we should see their best foot forward.
Yep.
All teams on the front foot at Bahrain, surely. And yeah, I just think he'll outperform the car again and put it on pole. So that's my pole position prediction. You 1 for 1?
Yep. My pole will be going to Oscar.
Yep.
It's his second home race.
Yeah.
McLaren's home race.
Yeah.
And they're definitely the team to beat right now.
Yep. Makes sense. And my winner is the other McLaren driver, Lando Norris. This is going to be our first repeat winner of 25. So Norris, I think, will just probably qualify second on the front row, I'd say, and just will have way more race pace than the Mercedes. I think testing showed that McLaren, and so far this year, McLaren usually are the best in long runs. So I don't see why Norris won't be able to get around him. I mean, I think this is going to be one of those Grand Prix that isn't a qualifying race. So he'll be able to get around and win. Your winner?
My winner's going to be my pole sitter.
Right, no.
Oscar.
I
think it'll be one from pole.
Yeah?
Yep.
Another another repeat winner.
Yeah. Our
not a
first
new winner.
repeat winner.
Yeah. Well, I think it's likely. I mean, I don't think anyone else has shown the potential that the top three drivers have shown initially. Obviously, we've had Hamilton winning the sprint in China, but I don't think that's going to translate to a full Grand Prix.
No.
So that's no surprise there, I'd say.
Ride height issues, I think. Ferrari.
Really?
Yeah. They were.
Yeah.
They've been struggling to dial that in.
Yeah. But also, you've seen with the weight, like a lot of drivers at the end of the race
coming up underweight.
Yeah, but usually they'll pick up marbles after the race on the cool down lap, but now they're going off the track to drive on the grass.
Yeah,
to pick up like more shit. So that's interesting. Class drive, I've got Ollie Behrman. I think he's picked up a bit of form and scored points last time out in Japan. So I think he will go good again. I think he's quality. He's a quality driver. So I think he's going to outperform Ocon again and take a points finish, back-to-back points finishes, which will be really good for Haas. Who have you got for class drive?
Going for another rookie.
Yep.
Antonelli.
Yeah,
He's done so well this season.
Yeah. I'd say he's best rookie so far.
So far that we've seen, yeah.
He's sort of like he's just like guns blazing,
Yeah.
Like he's shown good pace, so no rebuttals there. It's a good pick. I rate that pick. Run wide. Who have you got?
I'm going for the Netflix storyline. Going for Liam Lawson. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't think he was terrible in Suzuka, but he didn't do anything that was like, oh fuck, making Red Bull regret their decision. So I think that's not really a terrible take. Like Lawson's probably gonna take a few races to settle in again, but I still think he'll perform better in that RB.
In the sister outfit.
Yeah. So I've gone Stroll for my run wide drive, and just based on the fact that he's had a few poor outings in Bahrain over the years, so I've just gone that. And I think he's not going to score in the points. I reckon he's probably going to be around that 15, 16 mark to maybe even like a DNF, I'm saying. Big prediction. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to be anywhere. I don't think the Aston will be anywhere. So we'll see. Alonso might score a point, but we'll see, I guess. So that's the predictions. What about podium? I mean, do you think it's? We'll talk about the podium quickly. Do you think it's gonna be a McLaren double podium?
Being realistic, probably will be, or
Yep.
very well would be.
Yep.
But that third spot's up for grabs.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying 1-2 McLaren.
Yeah, most
1-2
likely.
McLaren. All right.
Yeah.
So he's back on the McLaren bandwagon after the China.
Yeah. No, that was Japan.
Sorry, Japan.
Japan,
After the
yeah.
Japan, no podium. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I think it will be a McLaren double podium as well, which is a bit of a boring answer, but I want to say based, yeah, I want to say that Verstappen's not going to be on the podium. That's my opinion.
You think the car doesn't have
I
it?
just think that the car's not going to be there. But I think obviously he's like the gun driver on the grid.
I was gonna say if a team other than McLaren was to win, it'd be Max.
Yeah, fair enough. I'd say if it was going to be not McLaren, it's going to be Mercedes or Ferrari. See, Ferrari's always good at Bahrain.
Yeah, they've been very good at
Yeah.
Bahrain.
So Ferrari could pull one out the bag. That's the
Leclerc
other
almost
thing.
had his first win here in 2019, and then
Exactly.
he DNF'd.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ferrari could have a good setup in the bag.
Yeah,
Like they could just pull one out of the hat and just be like, yeah, we'll take a dub here, or even a podium. Like, so it's sort of for me, it would be like if it's McLaren 1-2 or 2-3 or 1-3, it's either going to be Russell or Leclerc taking that third spot on the podium.
don't think Hamilton's got
No Hamilton.
no Hamilton. No.
Bit of adjustment in the Ferrari still, but he's done well. He's done well, so I'll give him that. Yeah, and Norris will extend the lead in the championship, and McLaren will extend their lead in the constructors championship. So those are the predictions. That's sort of our directions. We'll talk a little bit more about what else has been going on, and we've got a good little question for the end of the potty.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So Lewis is the most successful driver here with five wins, and he was a part of probably one of the best races in the modern V6 era, 2014. That was the first race under the lights at Bahrain. Actually, he had that battle with Rosberg.
Yes, I actually saw that recently as well.
That's
having lunch yesterday.
That's a class drive.
Yeah.
That's a class drive. Alonso
Rosberg threw everything at him.
Yeah.
Hamilton's coped brilliantly.
Yeah. Alonso has 3 wins here as well, and Verstappen's got 2. Yep. So, as well, another talking point was about the conditions. So we got the hardest compounds as well from Pirelli. We've got the C1, 2, and 3, same as Japan. But having said that, it is a high degradation track.
Worst conditions with the tyres.
Exactly. And last year, every driver was on at least a 2-stop. So I don't think we're going to have the same issue in Japan where everyone's just pushing 100% the whole time and it's not allowing for overtaking. So, plus this track is just way more catered to... sorry, just to backtrack real quick. I'm correcting myself here because there is 3 DRS zones. The back second main straight has a DRS zone. But yeah, I think that we'll see a lot more overtaking because this track is suited to it. And it's also being in the desert. Sand is a factor, blowing onto the surface and stuff. And apparently the organisers spray an adhesive onto the sand so that it doesn't actually blow onto the track. Which
so just stays in its spot.
Well, yeah, I guess so. That's the
bit of science for you.
Yeah. Good on them for having that down pat. But yeah, obviously the sand probably will still play a bit of a role. There's a lot of support categories you said?
Yeah, they've got Carrera Cup there.
Carrera Cup, F2 and F3.
Yep.
Yep. So hopefully that means, from the get-go, there's more rubber on the surface. So there'll probably be less track evolution in those sessions.
Yep.
And then, so we'll have that two-stop strategy combined with a track that's better for overtaking. Hopefully means we'll have a
Belter of a race.
be a banger of a race. An idea I saw was watching a YouTube video, another preview. Someone mentioned, I reckon this would be really freaking cool. So make it a sprint weekend, but we have the secure layout, the 2020 layout, the oval layout.
Yeah.
Have that layout for the sprint race, and then the GP is the full circuit. So it would sort of be like, and not the sprint race wouldn't be a sign, sort of how sometimes like over the years the sprint race has been like sort of like a foreshadow of what's going to happen in the Grand Prix, right?
Yeah.
This would be like, it's a different layout, so
completely different ball game.
Exactly. So that would be freaking awesome. Other news going on, I did see that Mercedes and Audi are strongly opposed.
They're not having it.
They're not having the V10s. They're not, and this is sort of what I was thinking would happen. I mean, like, just viability in terms of like relevance to the current like car market is just like V10s. I don't think they don't.
Unfortunate direction.
I know it's shit because it would be so cool, but
because you're willing to you want to make a V6 hybrid for the sake of being eco-friendly, but then you'll fly around the most ridiculous flight schedule.
Yes.
For a sport.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the calendar can be done in one trip around the globe. But instead you're going to go Asia, Europe, America, back to Europe.
Yeah.
Back to Asia.
Yeah, like it's all over the place.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what it is. Like
money talks.
Yeah. They're pulling out the cash, so, and that's sort of the whole reason. I think Audi would have always been against it because Audi sort of came into the sport with the fact that the F1 was going to change the regulations to suit them so that everyone had to build a new engine and they sort of weren't behind. So
right. But what are their GT3? What are their R8s? Are they V8s?
No, they're V10s. They're V10. But
so you're making it anyway. You're doing it all. You're already doing it.
Yeah, I know. But what can you do, mate? What can you do? But yeah, if you got anything else, any other talking points for the for Bahrain that you want to go through?
Just keep an eye out. Ferrari have been very good here. Yeah, he's already said it though. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. We've also got so we wanted to throw a little question in,
Bruise it up a bit.
Talk a little bit about something that's not going on, right? So question is, what rule change would you bring back that has been taken out of Formula One? Can you go first?
If I was to bring one back, I was just thinking this the other day, but in what's going on right now where qualifying is deciding race winners, it's very common at the moment.
Yep, true.
They bring back the Q2 tyre rule.
Yes.
Where the tyre you use in Q2 is what you start the race on.
Yeah. Okay. And how's it gonna improve the?
Just brings more strategy into it for the teams because it's all right. If you're a backmark or a midfield team, you want a good quality, you've got to probably be on the softest tyre.
Yep.
But that also means you're starting the race on the softest tyre, so you're probably having a shorter first stint.
True. Do you reckon though that teams will all just sort of go, all right, well we got to fucking start the race on this tyre, so let's just go on a medium?
Like they qualify on a medium.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then that makes it interesting because then you might still have teams who run a soft.
Right. to get. So you're saying like back market teams run a soft to get through to Q3,
Yeah.
and then like they're going to start the race on that,
Yeah.
and that sort of changes it a little bit. Okay.
And then there's also just puts a bit more strategy, a bit more gamesmanship into the sport.
Bit of gamesmanship. Yeah, nice. Okay. And was that so that's your rule change?
Yeah, that's mine. I think
Yeah.
it'll just make it a bit more interesting to watch.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have an issue with that. I don't think it's a terrible idea. Yeah. Good talking point. So mine would be it's a little bit of a tweak of what it was, but a top 10 shootout.
I didn't know they did this.
So this is a fucking banger,
Yeah.
I reckon. Now F1 did this. So this is 2003. F1 did this. It's a 1-lap shootout, right? So each driver goes out one at a time. They did this reverse order of the championship. Get one flying lap to set a time. No second chance. You fuck up, you start down the order, right? And it says they did this to get smaller teams more exposure and up the grid further into more competitive starting positions. But I sort of want to do a different approach to this, right? So what it would be is, start it off in the sprint formats if you like, but SQ1, SQ2, same as usual, but SQ3 is a top 10 shootout.
So you're doing this only for a sprint weekend?
Well, no, I'm saying like they trial it on a sprint weekend,
right? Okay,
and then move it to. I'd say, in my opinion, it's full Grand Prix spec.
Yeah,
it's fucking like elite.
Best racing.
Say started off in the.
Does it?
So supercars did this. Aussie supercars do this, right? And it's one of the best spectacles at Bathurst, and all the big races do it, right? So in F1, it would work like this. SQ1, SQ2 is normal. Then SQ3 is a top 10 shootout. Top 10 shootout is top 10 cars. They're in Parc Ferme on the in the pit lane, right? One at a time, they go out. You do an out lap, flying lap, cool down lap in. One chance. That's it. One at a time. Everyone gets the track to themselves. Like, there's something about having the track to yourself.
Yeah.
And having to do.
There's no traffic. Lap. There's no, this guy's gone slow in the 17th turn. I've got to back off now.
Exactly. And you've got to fucking do a lap when it counts. And that's where the best drivers thrive, Exactly. So it would be, the 10th to the 1st. So last to first in order of that. And then that determines the grid. So the other like sort of perspective that I was thinking of would be the like getting the cars into the operating window, because like I feel like in qualifying nowadays they do so much to get the car into the operating window just for one lap.
That might be something that they run into in a shootout scenario.
But that's what makes it interesting, because it's like a lot of the time in Q3, all we're just seeing is like for 8 minutes of the qualifying session, it's just nothing's going on, and it's just like teams, warming the car up. It's just like this takes that element out of it. You've got one fucking out lap to get the car in the window, go, and then that's it. All eyes are on that one driver, and
show us how good you really are.
Exactly, yeah. And then like it takes away this like teams doing all this, different shit to warm up the car and get it into the window and stuff like that.
Sending the second car out to give them a tow.
Yeah, like you've got this lap. You've got to get one lap to get the car in the window and go. And if you can't do that, well, you're going to suffer. And that's what will make it exciting. And yeah, it'll just be a banger format, I reckon. So
yeah, that's
sort of my rule change that I've got, which I reckon is fucking banging. But yeah, that's pretty much all we've got for today. Shane, you've got any other points you want to gloss over?
Go the JMs.
Go the JMs. Yeah, we've also got supercars this weekend in New Zealand, Taupo. for all the Australian and international interest.
If you've got a spare 10 minutes, just put it on.
Chuck it on. It'll be very good. It'll be a very good weekend. Obviously, with overseas people, it's a bit difficult, but it's some good racing and definitely a good watch if you're interested in motorsport. So get around it. We'll be getting around the GP this weekend, and we'll get the review up as soon as possible. But that's all we've got for today. Thanks for listening to the Off Camber podcast. Been a pleasure. We'll see you next week.